Hello, I am Calliope, the powerhouse priestess for entrepreneurs, and this is video 3 of how to start and launch your business. Today we're going to talk about your ideal client profile. In our previous videos, we talked about writing your business plan and creating your vision. So let's dive into video 3. In this video, we're going to talk about who your ideal customer or client is for your product or service. Now, a lot of people, when they first get into business, they don't want to do this part. They want to skip it over. They want to say, oh, this product or service is for everybody, or this product or service is for whoever will pay me. Now, I want to give you a visualization. I want to give you a scenario that helps you understand why this is actually so important to pay attention to and why I'm making it the third video before we even go deeper into offers or any of the other good stuff. So let's imagine I'm going to give you this amazing opportunity of having center stage in front of 100 people for 30 minutes, and they have to listen to you. And you get to talk about your product or service for the whole time. Now, do you actually want to tell me, oh, just give me 100 people, just 100 random people? Okay, so that room is gonna have, 5 babies, 10 people in their 80s, some people from this country, some people from that country, a busy mom, a 12-year-old boy on his Game Boy, handful of teenagers, some college kids. Okay, sell your product or service. How many of those people in that random group of 100 are going to be interested in what you are offering? You have this amazing opportunity, 100 people, how many are going to buy at the end of it, if that's the specs? Okay, so now imagine, same scenario, but this time you tell me, this time you tell me something as basic as, okay, ages 21 to 52. All right, now those, and they live in the United States. So new specs, new group of 100 people, how many do you think are going to buy from you? Now, what if you're selling makeup and half of the room are men who do not wear makeup? How good are your chances? How much wasted opportunity is happening? Okay, so now let's imagine, let's stick with you selling makeup products. And actually, no, let's say makeup services for weddings. Makeup services for weddings. So what is the average age of a bride? Let's put those specs in. Let's say, I don't know, let's stick with 21. Well, let's say like 21 to 35. Just because you want to get the most bang for your buck. So like you Google what are the most like average ages for brides, and let's pretend that's what it says. I don't really know. Okay, so then it's like, all right, well, you want all women, you want brides. So your new specs are women in that age range. Now, let's say your services are $300 an hour. So you need a woman, you need a bride who is going to pay that amount to book you. So are you going to get someone who's at a low income bracket? And you know what? Maybe even people at a high income bracket, they're going to look for someone who has even bougier services. So you're going to find like a mid-range income bracket. Put that as your new specs. Going even deeper, makeup for brides. So the next qualification is they're engaged, they're going to be getting married. Okay, so now let's picture that again. A room of 100 people. They fit all of those specs we just talked about. Oh, and let's say one of their interests is makeup and beauty. Now you give your pitch, your speech, you're on stage for 30 minutes. How many sales do you think you're going to make if you've qualified that that's the group of people listening to you? I can almost guarantee you it's going to be a lot more interest and a lot more sales than if you actually just spoke to a group of 100 random people. So creating your ideal client or customer profile, think of it like that room. Sure, anybody can have your service. Anybody might be interested in your service. But it's very important for you to be specific about it. So good to hear. Now, a lot of people will understand what I just outlined, but they'll still feel like niching down and being very specific is going to make them lose customers or clients. And that's not true. I can tell you from experience that I market to women and I still work with men. I still have men clients that come to me. I actually work with a coach who markets a very specific thing to specific people, but I liked her energy and vibe and expertise so much that I hired her anyway, because I was like, can you help me with this problem? And she said yes. So you're still going to get those people who are maybe outside of your specs who are still interested in you. There might be that man who's like kind of glancing in the room when you're talking to the group of 100 brides and he's like, you know what? I have a sister that I think you should work with. Or like, you know what? I need makeup services for a show I'm doing. You're really skilled. Do you do that? Like, can I still hire you? So you're still going to get those outskirt people. But if you do the opposite and you try to sell to everybody, market to everybody, you actually have less of a chance of getting anyone. So that's why I highly recommend creating this customer client profile. So get out your pen and paper. It's time for you to take some notes. These are going to be your reflection questions to go over until our next video. This might spark some new stuff that you can update your business plan with. So first question, what are you selling to them? Like, what are you actually selling to them? Let's say a beauty product. Now, what are you actually really selling to them? So most beauty companies, most beauty products, they're not actually just selling like, here's a highlighter, here's a concealer. They're selling to you beauty. They're selling to you perfection. They're selling to you a bridge between who you are now and this ideal self that you want to be. Especially concealer. Like, they're like, oh, conceal your flaws, become perfect. So think about your thing. What are you selling, and then what are you actually selling them? That'll help you understand this profile of the person that you're building. Like, I sell a membership website, but what I'm really selling to the entrepreneurs is support. Like, that's what truly comes out of the membership, even though the membership is the tangible thing that they're purchasing. So, oh, and then like a name brand purse. Are you really just buying a handbag? For some people they are, but a lot of people are buying that, the name brand, for status, to feel luxurious, to feel expensive. They're buying a feeling. They're buying something more nuanced than just a physical purse. So going back to the notes, what is your ideal customer's age range? What is their income level? Where do they live in the world? What is their gender? What is their job? What are their likes and dislikes? Now consider all of these. Not all of them will actually need to apply to the specs that you're creating, but just keep imagining that room and asking yourself, is it important? What of these factors are important to qualify if this person is interested in what I have to sell? What are their values? What are their beliefs? I would not go and sell a tarot reading in a room full of hardcore Christians, because that's just, they're not going to vibe with me. That's not who they need to come to for spiritual support. What are their goals? What does this person want? What are their desires? What are their struggles and pain points and challenges? What is their ideal image of themselves? And how do they see themselves now? Now, beauty companies really exploit that one. So I would hope that you would be like very in integrity with how you use that one. Like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I think it's changing now, but the old culture of like selling beauty was very like, you are flawed and you need to buy makeup or you'll be ugly. um, so is your person single? Are they married? Do they have kids or no kids? What kind of media does your person consume? What kind of social websites are they looking at? What are they researching regularly? And what are their hobbies? What do they like to do with their free time? And how much free time does this person have? Okay, so here's the final and most important question to ask. Who is going to find you credible? Who is going to think that you, the seller of the service or product, is the credible person for them to purchase from? So here's an example of what I mean by that. Well, first of all, it has to do with what your expertise and story is. Now, again, we're talking about like sole proprietorship stuff. We're not talking about like building the next Amazon or the next Facebook. Although those started off very niche, actually. Amazon was just selling books and Facebook was just selling to college students. So it still kind of applies, but think about like the people you're working with in this business are going to be very one-on-one with you. So they need to connect with you. They really need to connect with you, and you need to understand them as well. You need to have kind of been in their shoes at some point. So you are a credible source for them to go to. So what I mean by this, let's imagine you are selling workout services. And let's assume that you have 3 people in front of you who already want a trainer. They are already looking for somebody to become their trainer. They have that desire. So one of the people is a former athlete who had an injury, and he understands a lot about fitness, but not fitness in the new body that he's in. He needs to kind of be reintroduced to like the basic mechanics of movement and alignment. And the trainer he needs is somebody who understands that athletic drive that he has, but has that really expert eye and compassion to really teach him like, this is the alignment you need. These are the basic things you need to heal your injured body and to, work out again, but not at that level you used to be at. That's client number 1. Client number 2. Client number 2 is a mom who has virtually no time to actually work out. She's had 3 kids and her body shows that. There's stretch marks, she has a belly, she's gotten bigger than she's ever been in her whole life. And for health reasons, she's starting to think like, you know what, I want to slowly but consistently claim my body back while also raising my 3 children. So that's client number 2. Oh, and she also can't help but late night snack. That's kind of like a factor in there. So client number 3 is a woman in her early 20s, and she's already got like a size 6 body, but she just wants to like tone it up, go that next level, look extra freaking hot. And she's got great stamina, she has whatever the word is I'm looking for. She's already like, there's no health problems. She already eats really well. She just wants that next level of hotness. So, those are 3 very different people. I mean, yes, a skilled trainer could most likely work with all 3. That could be under their umbrella. But who is it that they want to work with? Let's say that the trainer was also a former athlete. They also went through the experience of an injury. They're probably going to want to work with client number 1, and client number 1's probably going to feel very comfortable with the advice that comes from that type of trainer. Now, what if the trainer is also a mom and she knows what it's like to have that body and then transform it again, and she understands what it's like to work within limited time of kids? Person number 2, they're gonna feel so much more comfortable with that trainer. And that trainer is gonna be like, oh girl, I got you. I get the whole kid thing. I understand you. I understand how to work with you on this. Person number 3. Doesn't really matter to her if the person had an injury before. It doesn't really matter to her about time. She's got tons of time. She doesn't have kids. Her body and her eating habits are just not where number 2 was. So who's the ideal trainer for her? It's probably another woman that she feels really connected with, someone close to her age, close to her lifestyle, and can be like, oh yeah, look at what I got. Let me help you with this, girl. So who are you, and who would want to work with you? And who do you want to work with? Whose stories do you resonate with? Whose struggles and problems and desires do you resonate with? And why? What's your story behind that? Now, getting really specific about that last part is going to help you the most, because you might not really be sure about the other parts. But if you focus on that last part of the credibility and the expertise and the story, and you just start rolling and getting clients with that, after a while, you're going to have, maybe 10 or 20 people you've worked with, and then you can start to look it over and be like, okay, what's showing up for me a lot? Is there like a common pattern in these people's ages, locations, income levels, professions, hobbies, stuff that's not part of the story or the expertise? Like, are there any patterns? And I'll tell you a really interesting one. After I was tarot reading for a lot of clients for about 2 years, I started noticing I had so many clients that were cops and ex-military. I would have never in 1,000 years put that on my ideal client profile. I would have never thought about it. So I actually asked one of them. I asked 2 of them. I said, I'm noticing this pattern. Why do you think that is? Like, I'm curious, like why you're drawn to me with this background. And they said, because as a cop or an ex-military, in the position they were in, looking for patterns was crucial to analyzing the way that they did work and coming up with conclusions. And they said, that's how I see you work with tarot. Tarot is about patterns, and that's something you analyze. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. And it just gave me this whole new level of understanding of my clients and who I work with. So, take all this information, let me know how it's landing. Let me know in a private direct message or in the comments below. I would love to answer any questions or hear about what this sparks for you. If you need personalized support, either on anything you've heard in this video or the rest of the series, or just business in general, I work with established and aspiring entrepreneurs on 3 different levels. I have a membership, I have private sessions, and I have long-term coaching support. So reach out, we can start the conversation and see what the best fit is for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this valuable, please share it with someone else that you think would get a lot out of it. And I will see you next week.